the number one topic that I want to talk about is something that has been really kind of rumbling through my head. Has been this amazing clip which features Demi Moore, Kylie Jenner, and Timothy Chalamet, or Chalamet, however you pronounce his name, at the Golden Globes. It's an amazing clip, right? Demi Moore rocks up to Timothy Chalamet behind him, and he's sitting next to Kylie Jenner, his date. And yeah, she just talks to Timothy the whole time, and not once does she make even a head turn to look at Kylie Jenner. She doesn't even once give her the courtesy of a head nod, of a little wry smile, nothing. She pays her absolute dust, and it's absolutely hilarious because it reminds me of a time when I went to Fold, the popular London club here, the Berghain of London, less per se, and I received a similar treatment from the founders of Fold, and I want to share that story with you. So let me play the clip so you can see what I mean, and then I'll tell you my very embarrassing, somewhat cringy story of my, you know, situation that kind of mirrors this very embarrassing situation that Kylie Jenner had herself in. Let's play the clip. So as you can see there, Demi Moore makes no effort to say hi to him, no effort, zero. Kylie Jenner's eyeing her many times, but she makes no effort to say hi, none. And it reminds me so much of my interaction I had with the founders of Fold. Now, it was my fault. Let me just start off saying that it was my fault, right? Because usually I'm not the expectation type of guy. Usually when I go into social interactions or when I'm out in general, I usually keep myself to myself. People that have seen me outside with know I'm not really the same chirpy, bubbly personality that I am online. At first, I kind of appear a bit cold. I kind of appear a bit, you know, angry black man. Maybe because of years of trauma and PTSD because of my ancestors being enslaved and being whipped and shit. Who knows? But I carry some of this anger with me when I'm on the street. So if I see you and I know you, I'm going to brighten up and I'm going to be super loud and, you know, gregarious and how I am online. But if I don't know you, you're going to meet a very dour, very cold, very kind of, you know, almost stoic type of individual. But there are times where I can fan out because I do kind of abide by the logic that if you like somebody or if you like something, you should make it clear. You should make it known, you know? You shouldn't be like shy about it. And I'm not shy about it. But unfortunately in the UK, we're also not the best place for unbridled love like that. You know, the UK we don't really fuck with that sort of stuff like that. In the UK, you kind of have to play it cool. You kind of have to chill. You can't really be, you know, you can't really be like that here. People don't really respond too well to it. Anyway, long story short, this was around the time when I was first sort of like speaking about Fold. And, you know, I could say hand on heart and, you know, without sounding like an absolute egomaniac, I was probably one of the first people to kind of speak about Fold online, I think, giving reviews, you know, basically I'm telling my impression of the club and stuff and basically talking about my experience. And I guess in my dumb mind, I thought because I was out here, you know, spreading the gospel of Fold London, that somehow these guys would, I don't know, respond differently to me in person. I don't know what I thought in my head. I don't know whether or not I thought I was entitled to a hello, a conversation, hey, I've seen your video, whatever I thought in my head, right, was fucking dumb. Because when I got into that green room and I was with some of these Fold founders who were in there, I think it might have been three. Actually, I tell a lie. Of the three people that I know who are involved in Fold, one guy did speak to me who was quite nice. I forgot his name. I wish I remember. I think his name is Seb or something. Is it Seb? I think it's Seb. He was really nice. The other two, not so much, which is understandable. But I did get the similar sort of treatment. So I was Kylie in this conversation, sitting there, and, you know, everybody kind of in the room acknowledged who I was type of thing, understanding, you know, oh shit, I've seen your videos about Fold. And then they came in and paid me complete dust. And I'm not going to lie. In that moment, my feelings were hurt. And in that moment, I may have said to myself silently, I'm never coming back to this club again. All right. These motherfuckers didn't say hi to me. They didn't acknowledge my presence. They talked to everybody else in this room apart from me. But then afterwards, I was like, you know what? What are you being done for? Like, what's this expectation? Like, what's this entitlement to a hello? What's this entitlement to a conversation? No one owes you jack shit, right? If you wanted a conversation, you could have gone up to him and said hi. Like, Kylie could have easily tapped Demi on the shoulder and got her attention, but she didn't want to because she felt a bit embarrassed, got a bit shy. She wanted Demi more to make eye contact and to make it easier, right? You want them to make it easier by them making eye contact to you. But if you're that desperate for a hi or for an introduction or to say something, why don't you tap and say something? But she didn't. So it's kind of on you. And on my opinion, it was kind of on me too. I didn't go out of my way to introduce myself. And I feel like another person in that situation probably would have gone out of their way to say, hi, this is me. I'm not sure if you saw my video or what I do on social media or on YouTube. I've got this podcast to talk about clubbing, blah, blah. Someone else would have done that sort of thing, but I didn't because basically I'm too cool for school. And I feel like I don't need to do that sort of thing, which obviously is a bad thing because, you know, introducing yourself, networking, all that sort of stuff is the way that you succeed in this world. But I have to also be honest and say, in those type of situations, I do think it's also important to kind of act like you've been there before a little bit. So maybe being overly eager, as much as I think it's important to be eager and to be enthusiastic and to tell somebody that you love them if you're a fan of them. I'm a big fan of that because I feel like online especially, we're all very quick to say what we don't like. Everyone, all of us, we all know what we don't like. We're all kind of passionate about things that we don't like, things that we don't like to see, blah, blah, blah. But if somebody asks you, hey, what do you like? Suddenly you're stuttering like fucking Flocker from No Jumper. That's not the way to be. So I don't mind giving people their flowers and, you know, licking their ass per se, because if I'm a fan of somebody, I'm a fan of you. But I also know in some situations, it doesn't always call for that. Kind of, you know, it doesn't, you have to kind of judge every situation, every scenario as it is individually, as opposed to having a blanket approach to everything. And in some situations, who knows, maybe they just didn't see you. It could be as simple as that. You might think the world revolves around you, but maybe they just did not even notice you. You know, and that's perfectly fine. Maybe they didn't have a plan to talk to you then. They want to talk to you later, away from the cameras. They just want to say quickly hi to a fellow colleague. You know, somebody maybe that they've known since they were young, whatever it may be. I think that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But it is really, really embarrassing when it happens, because there's always a reminder of how far you are on the totem pole, or where you are on the totem pole. So even in Kylie's case, it's probably worse, because I think in Kylie's case it's worse because she's really famous, right? Kylie Jenner is really, really famous. So when you're that famous, you rarely have moments of humility. There's very rarely moments where people don't bend over backwards to accommodate you, especially in America, right? I think a lot of these celebrities, when they come to Europe, they have a dose of reality, especially when they go to Paris Fashion Week. They get subjected to French, you know, manners, French behavior, French conduct and stuff. And it's a big eye opener that they don't get, you know, the red carpet treatment everywhere they go. But normally in North America and other places they go around the world, they get everything given to them, hand on feet, whatever, right? People bending down, do everything, basically putting their bodies online for them to walk over. But in some situations, it is good for the psyche, for the mental, for the ego, to be reminded that, hey, there are people who are legitimately in their heads bigger than you. Maybe in real life, I don't know if Demi Moore is really a bigger celebrity than Kylie, I don't know. But let's just say, like, there's levels to this shit. And sometimes it's good to be reminded of that so that you keep yourself in somewhat check. But I did find it utterly hilarious because, like I said, it legit reminded me of that really cringy experience I had in Fold, where I legitimately thought, you know, those guys were going to say hi, or, you know, they were going to be nice, and it didn't really work out that way. But I'm also a big believer in that. I think it's important to treat places like that, or treat people in places, sometimes have a bit of separation. Like, I'm not a big fan of like meeting your heroes. So as much as I love that club, much as I love what they've done over there is a future that I see, however far-fetched it is, that I'll eventually open up my own club. And the idea about opening up my own club is that so I can actually kill them, do you know what I mean, and be like the best one here in London per se. And there's also this idea of like, I love the club anyway, I don't really want to meet them, do you know what I mean? I'd rather just enjoy the club for what it is. And to be completely honest, when I was in there anyway, the growing room, don't get me wrong, it's nice to be there. It's nice to get the first invite. I think I've been in there twice, once with an invite, once, you know, I stole someone's wristband. Or no, once I got an invite, once I got given a wristband, and once I slipped in without when the security guard wasn't looking. But the thing about being in the green rooms is that when you are in there, right, the main thing when you are in there is this. It's a reminder and an eye opener of just how bleak it is, those type of places. You think there's a place to be, you think everybody's there, I should be there. It's not that fun, I guarantee you. The fun is actually on the dance floor. Honestly, the fun is on the dance floor. The green rooms are horrible. Because what I saw when I went in there was just people who left their house to go to a club, not to club, but to go and sit in a room behind the DJ booth and just do loads of drugs. Not that fun. You hear the music coming through the muffled walls because there's great sound insulation and stuff at Fold, so the music rarely bleeds, but you hear it muffling through the walls, so it's not really a good sound system. You don't really hear it properly. So it's a bit terrible to me personally. And they don't really let randoms stand behind the booth, which I like. they kind of adopt the Berghain approach where only people who are playing are allowed behind the booth, from what I remember about Fold. So it's not like you can even stand there in the VIP area. You're just kind of, it's a bit dead in my personal opinion. So it was quite depressing to be in there and have people, number one, the conversation is horrible. The chat, the gossip is just, industry, catty, hating type of stuff, which is, it's not really that fun to talk about, to be honest. Might be okay to see on Instagram, on the comments and in posts, but you don't really want to be surrounded by it. And just people doing drugs all day. It's like, I don't know, I came here to see a DJ perform. I came here to kind of dance. I don't really want to stand or sit here and have people racking up lines around me. It's not really that fun. If you could do that, you just do it at home somewhere. Why are you going to do it in a club? But you have to go there first, because I'm saying this now as somebody who has been experienced of going in these rooms myself personally a few times, and it's easy for me to say that because I've been in it. Once you've been in it, you'll see. But it definitely isn't as good as you think it is. Especially when you go in there and you see some of your heroes and they're like, weird and scatty and shit. It's not the greatest. Like, I remember when I was actually in Fabric once, I saw Miss Kitten in the green room, and she didn't look like she wanted to see fans or anything. That was funny, which is understandable, right? Because whatever was happening in there, and it kind of ruined the experience for me again, because she was, she kept looking at me like I was a feds or something. But I got why she was apprehensive, because she kind of thought it would be like a private area, and here's me, a randoms, and some other randoms there. It kind of felt like, oh my god, someone might notice what I'm doing, and da 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 da. But I kept it cute. I kept it cute and acted like I didn't see nothing, and slyly kind of walked out anyway to maybe make her feel more comfortable. But yeah, it's not the greatest place to be. I'm not gonna lie. It is kind of depressing to see all these people who kind of, don't ever go home and are out all the time. Trying to share like a gram of a baggie of fucking ketamine between like 6 people. It's pretty bleak. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty bleak. So stay on the dance floors. Forget about the green rooms. Don't worry if you get the cold shoulder by some celebrity or some person that's well known. Usually it isn't as big as a deal as you think it is. Maybe it's not even that personal. Maybe they truly didn't see you. Maybe that's not the time they went to have a conversation with you in the first place. It is what it is. If you really want to have a conversation with them, put your ego and pride to one side. Say hi to them first. But sometimes it is good to be reminded just where you are on the totem pole. It is good to be reminded just where you are, so you know how far you have to go. It's not that deep. It is not that deep. Okay, cool. But what do I know? Absolutely nothing.